The Toronto Blue Jays are meeting with Juan Soto today, and they're seen as one of the dark horses in his sweepstakes. Can they actually get the job done, or are they getting Shohei Ohtani yet again? We'll break it down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be talking about the Juan Soto sweepstakes yet again, and one team in specific is actually meeting with the superstar outfielder today, so I'll keep you up to date on everything that I hear about that. But this is exciting news if you're a Toronto Blue Jay fan, and like myself, I'm not going to get ahead of myself because the same thing happened last year with Shohei Ohtani. They were meeting with him. He was at the complex in Dunedin. None of that ended up being true. I do suspect this meeting to be true because I think Juan Soto is going to try to meet with as many teams as possible just to kind of gauge where the market is at. But anyways, I'm going to tread with caution, absolutely, in these sweepstakes. And Jeff Passan had this to say: the Toronto Blue Jays will be the first to meet with Juan Soto this week. After trying to land Shohei Ohtani last winter, the Blue Jays are serious about adding a star alongside Vladdy Jr. And this is not just some star that you're adding. This is a superstar. This is going to be your superstar if you add him to a team that already consists of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. And let's take a look at some reasons why the Blue Jays should be all in on him, and some reasons why they have a better chance than some may give them. So possibilities and probabilities, why it's okay to dream, and a prediction on where the Jays will land. Let's start here. Soto might be the safest bet we've ever seen in free agency. Younger than Judge, healthier than Ohtani, better than Harper. I agree with that, and if you guys haven't already, if you're a Blue Jay fan, go check out Chris Black. He does some amazing work on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he just breaks down a lot of stuff that Blue Jay fans just don't really see with the naked eye, so go ahead and check him out. And the next thing, the odds. Some are going to tell you that the Jays have no shot. Well, let's get specific. They're underdogs compared to the New York teams, but they have the fourth or fifth best odds in Major League Baseball to go out and acquire Soto at 17-1. Obviously, it's going to be an uphill battle with those two New York teams. He's familiar with the area, of course. He had a year in the Bronx with the Yankees, so that is working in their favor, in my opinion. But the Mets said that they will not be outbid, so it looks like it's mano-a-mano between those two teams, and maybe that's better for the Blue Jays. Maybe that's how they want it, because last time it was mano-a-mano between them and the Dodgers for Shohei. It didn't end up too well for the Blue Jays. So maybe them being kind of in the background here, them being able to swoop in and offer the most amount of money to Soto, that could work in their favor. So I'm not saying that there's a high chance that they get him, but there is definitely a chance, considering that they're going to be the first team to meet with him. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. In my opinion, I think that's bad, because you want to be the last team to meet, and you want to be one of those teams that makes the final impression on him and sways him in that regard. And hopefully you're not forgotten by the end of all of these meetings, but they're the first team to meet with him. That shows some initiative by the Blue Jays, and they said that they're going to go all in on him. But what they cannot do this time around is, if they don't get him, they can't just pivot to signing 40-year-olds on the free agency market. They have to have a legitimate, concrete plan B, and hopefully they have that this time. But another reason is the lack of left-handed production that the Blue Jays have had in their lineup for a very long time now. This is the biggest reason why I'm sure the Jays front office is just drooling over Soto. From Lindor to Jose Ramirez to Ohtani, the organization has been chasing a left switch-hitting bat for their top four. And if you take a look in 2024, the left-handed production: hits 30th in the league, average 29th, on base 28th, weighted on base average tied for 27. And the left-handed hitters that featured for the Blue Jays last year were Dalton Varsho, of course, who played every day. Spencer Horwitz, who had a very good season. I got to give him that. Addison Barger, who came on as of late, but then you look at the list and there's just not much there. Kiermaier, Loperfido, Biggio, Will Wagner had a very nice run there at the end of the year. Daniel Vogelbach, Nathan Lucas, Stuart Baroa, Jonathan Clase, and Heineman, the catcher, Tyler Heineman. So, not great. Not great production, there's no doubt about that. And the Blue Jays need more production from the left-hand side of the plate. Absolutely. Juan Soto would be the get in free agency in order to help with that. But I guarantee you that's not the main reason why they're going after him. If Juan Soto was a righty, I'm sure they would just be pursuing him just as hard. So he's a great player. He's very safe, like Chris Black mentioned here. He's a very safe bet in free agency. Younger than Judge, healthier than Ohtani, better than Harper. I agree with all of those statements. I do. I wouldn't say he's better than Judge or Ohtani, but he is younger. So maybe there's still room for growth for him as a player. But last season I thought was probably his best year in the big leagues. He was fantastic. And if it wasn't for Aaron Judge doing what he did in the regular season, I think we would have been talking about Juan Soto a lot more, but we're talking about him now because this offseason is all about him and Roki Sasaki to a certain degree. But I also agree with this point that Chris Black made here. I also think this team, especially guys like Vladdy and Bo, need a guy who enjoys high pressure, who thrives in big moments. I think both those guys would benefit from a star who wants all of the stadium's eyes on him. And we know that Juan Soto does not crumble under the bright lights. He is clutch. He is one of the great playoff performers that I've ever seen. And I'm glad that he got back to that stage this year with the Yankees. I'm glad that we were able to witness some of his playoff heroics. And that hit against the Guardians, it deflated them. That was the deciding blow. And Juan Soto said, all right, guards, you're going home today. You are going home today. And that's the kind of impact that he can have on a lineup. He is fearful. He is a guy that you do not want to pitch to. And another reason why I'd say Juan Soto may be considering going to the Blue Jays is because he knows that he would be the top dog there. Whereas in New York, he can act like the top dog, but everyone knows it's Aaron Judge. He's the captain. He won't be the highest paid player anymore if they retain Juan Soto, but he is their captain. He is a Yankee through and through. He's going to retire a Yankee. So no one is really taking the cameras off of Judge. Juan Soto is an entertainer. He's a performer, and he is a great ball player. But he's going to play second fiddle to Aaron Judge. That's just the way that things are going to work. So if he wants to be the guy, Toronto might be the spot for him. LA's definitely not the spot. If he goes to the New York Mets, yeah, sure, he'd be the guy on that team, but that's a huge city, man. That is a huge city with a great basketball team, with a lot of great hockey teams. Juan Soto won't be talked about 24/7 like he will in Toronto. And I guarantee you that he will be talked about that way 24/7. But let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Juan Soto has any chance of going to the Toronto Blue Jays? Do you think the Jays are smart to go after him and pay him whatever he wants? I think yes. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you all tomorrow.